The CIA, during the Cold War, hired people we call psychics. This went on for over 20 years. An individual who claimed that he worked for the CIA doing remote viewing, he said, I crossed over to the other side many times, and language was never a barrier, and communicated with people and exchanged information, although the other person and he spoke different languages and didn't know each other's language. All those CIA files are now at Rice University.
And they're conclusive that remote viewing can be done?
They got hits. They wouldn't have kept doing it for over 20 years if they didn't get correct information.
And this is all public.
This program was far larger than most people realize.
Shalom, bro. There it is, right? Coming at you straight out of the Bible, baby. You know what I mean? That's how it's going to go down on this one. All right, it's your boy Zephaniah. I want to shout out to the Most High Power, Abi Howell, and his son, Masha Kalashah, for giving us another chance to be kings and priests, and our brothers out there in the houses and bars fighting a good fight, and to the elders of Israel, teaching the Lord's statute commands as written, having men under the command, doing the Lord's work. All right, gathering ourselves together. Ye nation not desire. That's what it's coming down to, right? A lot going on in the world right now, right? We got wars, rumors of wars. You know, everything is manifesting the way the Lord wanted to go, right? We got birth pains, right? So it's gonna be somewhat like enlarged at first, and it's going to calm down. Enlarged at first, it calm down, right? Like contractions. And then it's going to be the big enchilada where the baby's being born, right? So that time is coming upon us real soon. And in the meantime, between time, our job is really to wake up the Lord's sheep of the house of Israel. You know, a lot of people want to debate stuff like that. And then there is a lane for that, right? But you have to understand, too, pushing the Lord's work is our main focus. And beating down strongholds is also our main focus, because we have a lot of Christians of our own people that come up against us, and they have this idealistic approach to the Bible. The Bible is very analytical, right? This is what I'm going to segue into, because we're going to get into Jericho and Rahab, and you're going to see what was happening at that time. And that's why I showed that video with remote viewing, because I'm going to tap into a video of remote viewing, but I'm going to hit you out with some scriptures to lead up to that video to give you an understanding of what really is happening at that time. And I don't promote remote viewing because that's going into divination, but I'm showing you how the heathen looks at our records. And it's really to open the minds of our people so they can stop looking at this Bible as a fairy tale book. Understand this is real records of real events that happen and pertain to our people, right? And to understand that these events is leading up to what's going to happen at the end. All right, brothers and sisters. So that hit y'all with the Fair Use Act 1976. This is just for commentary purposes, and I'm not doing this for any type of monetary gain. Joshua chapter 2 and verse 2, right? And to give you the backdrop, right? This is basically going into how the spies got in there and leading up to Rahab, right? And you're going to see that she didn't receive salvation. Salvation comes from the word salvage, which means something that's fixed, is broken, and is being redeemed, salvaged. All right, what she got was a military contract for military occupation that was happening in that land, whether she wanted to do or not to do. It was going to happen regardless. So let's further ado is do Joshua 2:2, and Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly. So what's happening here, right? These are 2 spies. I'm going to get into what that is in a minute. Saying, go view the land, even Jericho. And they went and they came into an harlot's house named Rahab and lodged it. So basically they dressed up in regular tie because they came to spy. So you go to the harlot's house, pretend that you're going to buy some coochie, but you're really coming at them to search out the land. Rahab, being her profession as she is, she peeped game, right? And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, behold, there came men in to hit it tonight, children of Israel, to search out the country, because they already know it's going to go down. Remember, prior to this happened, right, king of Og, right, Egypt, all these lands, right, the king of Moab, Ammon, all of them being destroyed, right? So you got to understand the picture was happening. You have to modernize everything when you read it. Think about Russia, America, China being destroyed. America is equivalent to Egypt. That's being destroyed. And you're now in the path for the land of Canaan. So you're like in the land of Turkey. You got a formidable military, but you can't handle the United States or Russia. And you just heard they've been destroyed. So what do? You start saying, damn, we next, right? And the king of Jericho was sent out into Rahab, saying, bring forth the men, and the Slaki, and the men that they had come to thee, which are entered into thy house, for they come, like for they be come to search out all the country, right? And this is where she took him and hit him. All right. So what was happening at the same time? This is what we call the military reconnaissance mission, a planned operation designed to obtain information about the enemy, potential enemy, or a specific area focusing observation, detection, surveillance. Right. So when you get to the key aspects of it, purpose, terrain, mythology, and you get to the very bottom, you're gonna see military application. Consider eyes and ears of a commander. Remember that word. Identifying enemies' strengths and weaknesses as well. All right. So then we lead to Joshua, right? Now this is two. The spies went in, did reconnaissance mission. Boom, they kicked back. Rahab, they made a military agreement with a civilian, right? They say, hey, if you let us slide, when we come back, we gonna let you slide. That's a military agreement. It happens all the time. When you see military go to foreign lands, they basically have certain agents in there. They'll say, listen, you do this for us and this. That's not salvation. It's a military agreement or military occupation. Joshua 5 and 13. And it came to pass when Joshua went by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went in unto him. Salakia, Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us or our adversaries? Right? So he's questioning this man. Hear what this man replied. And he said, nay, but I'm captain of the hosts of the Lord. Let's get what that captain word means. The word Sah, H8269 here. And let's see, ruler, prince, commander, captain, general, commander. Remember we just said it was a commander, right? This is going to lead up to my video, right? I'm just segueing. And now I come, and Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, what saved my Lord of his servant? And the captain of the host said unto Joshua, loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place wherein thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. Because what that's going into is his understanding at that time, right? You know, when someone says take your shoes off, basically they're telling you, because your shoes are what you travel with, and you pick stuff up. The Lord did the same thing to Moses. So when he came from Egypt, he had a lot of Egyptian understanding and course. He said, take that off. I'm about to teach you understanding of how the Lord works. So that's why when Joshua questioned him, he's like, don't question me, man. I'm here for y'all, and I'm going to show you what to do. All right? So that's what that's tapping into. Now, I'll hit you up with this video, and I'm going to segue and finish it off. All right.
So this is a following clip that's taken from a remote viewing on the Ark of the Covenant. I want y'all to listen to the words what they're about to say, how they're about to get into what they're seeing happening at the time. And this is how this truth is so deep, because what they're seeing is what we're reading in the scriptures, right? Now, these people don't believe in the Bible. They're just doing a task that's given to them. Now, let's see what actually happening in that time frame.
In a formation type, like I feel that there are soldiers in small units, male humans, and they had a commander. So they were commanded.
Now you hear that? They had a commander. I'm gonna chime in because this is gonna get into what the whole segment I'm bringing out, right? They had a commander, and this commander's give them orders, right? Pay attention.
By a person. They're special units, special forces, but they use exotic material and exotic energy. They are in silent motion, looking for something, grouping and regrouping, sweeping the area. It's like a type of brotherhood or brothers in army.
That's what it is. That's what this whole truth is really about. Brotherhood, sisterhood, right? And that's why they always want to keep us divided. Right? We have minor differences in doctrine and who believes in the chart, who believes in nothing. End of the day, we're Hebrews, man. That's what it boils down to. And that's what it's going to come down to this.
With a military and male sense, soldier feel, demeanor, brave, courageous. They are clustered shoulder to shoulder. Together we are a force. I got this command, which it was very important, high in rank with his soldiers, having a kind of laser type of energy coming from their whatever weapon they had. And it was a recovery mission. They are sent in a particular location with a mission happening at night. And they use this which is like a more advanced tool, and the soldiers are totally unaware of the force, the power of it. A type of complex machinery attached to life, tactic, combat, real life test, complex, powerful, dangerous, infallible, the idea of one against other. And I've got an idea of mimicking what I wonder, and I instantly answered the devil.
Now to chime in here, mimicking water. Now you're starting to see how Moses was able to part the what they call the Red Sea, right? Remember, this is how you got to free your mind. When you understand the Bible and understand how it's shot and the angels and all that, you have to start to think in a more, I don't even want to say science fiction, but a more science realistic, that they coming here with technology that we've never seen before and giving it to us, which is basically the chosen people to dominate on the earth. And this is why you see great fear coming upon them. Not because they fear us, it's just they fear the people that they know chose us to run this planet. This is very deep. And that's why this truth is hard for a lot of people, because it's not for the weak.
So maybe it's something spiritual to it, I don't know. Then I move in front of the main focus, and I've got this black box object man-made, again surrounded by people. It's like a connection. Feels that it also can fire energy directed as like a weapon, charging with a pitch noise, low frequency type at first, to fully charge, ending in high frequency sounding type of noise as like a battery. Its energetics are adjustable depending on data collected prior, feels as if it had sensor for motion, image, and also chemical one. So sounding is very interesting because I've got this sound. The sound was like, when it's charging a battery, and that kind of sound I got all the session. So at this point, the weaponry came even much more powerful, and my black box, which was having something that was scanning the surroundings, and I felt it was looking small, like it could be carried by life forms. I've got this pistol in the left as a flash visual, and instantly I felt it looks nefarious to me, and it was a weapon, and I was, wow, a weapon. And again, the man-made was carried for me in a vehicle type in the middle of a needed action. This was a man-made type of casing that soldier wears, double layer metallic stuff inside, exotic or unusual type of energy which alter its surroundings. It's applying a force that comes from inside, is vibrating, changing frequency around the man-made, and it is almost unbreakable. It's feeding with energetics from surroundings. It feels like vacuuming the energy to other point, draining environment's energy, coldness, damaging a real cold from really low temperature. Microwave-like energetics, altering living tissue, also brain tissue, but or brain areas. I keep hearing the word frying. I feel that if I would be near the object,
So it's like a microwave type of weapon that they had. Like, you know what I mean? That's how it was able to like hit the wall down, because the walls of Jericho, I believe, was like around 15 to 25 feet, even 30 feet. So it was very high. You couldn't just climb it like that. And the walls back then, contrary to what we believe, was more reinforced with steel and hard mortar brick. So you couldn't just ram that. So you had to have some type of technology to break the walls. Remember, the whole wall fell down. Bible just says they were marching and the walls fell down.
looks nefarious to me. My man-made was indeed larger inside than the recorded dimension. It was about traversing distance by dimming the distance, not by walking through it. It is carried away with a vehicle like man-made. The device can read people, also it could affect and could kill them if there is no correct matching. The user is only accepted after specific matching. It felt like they specifically chosen males, that males are insulated in a location far from the usual normal existence, from the usual world. They are groomed from a young age. They lack the normal life way of life. They have a lonely existence. They only have each other, a cohesive group, and it's the ultimate weapon.
I'm gonna play this back so y'all can hear this again. The group has been groomed from young, and have an interface. The system has an interface that you could only solidify if you are matched. And we saw that with King David when he was bringing the Ark of the Covenant back. And I forgot the brother's name, but he touched the Ark and he died. And David was like, damn, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the interface of the system. Only the Levites. This is how deep this is. People talk about spirituality and this and that and the third, right? The bloodline of the Levites are the only people could activate the Ark of the Covenant. That's why when I believe the Philistines took it and they had it in their temple, what happened? They got sick and started to die. And they said, yo, take your stuff back, take your stuff. Because, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man. Listen, when you understand these records and you understand your lineage, you understand the powers behind that joint.
Weapon, ultimate weapon, but or tool. Again, looks more bigger inside than outside. It's sitting like on a point in space. It's opening a slice of energetic window. Blink speed, blink motion zigzag, time distortion breakthrough, delaying or keeping the time for itself. So this man-made was above Earth. We're scanning, recording the event, and I've got now as a satellite or a drone, and all the event on its entirety.
As a chariot, right? Chariot's Israel, right? The command center. See, man, let me tell you something, man. When the Lord comes back here, a lot of people ain't gonna understand what's happening because it's gonna look like a sci-fi movie. But you see, when you start to train your mind to understand this records and understand that what the Lord said, a cloud took Christ up, right? And that's how he's going to come back. When you start to put them two and two together, you're going to understand all these movies they bring out, Independence Day, War of the Worlds, all that. These are things to kind of like, I don't use the word predictive program, but this is to let the masses know, hey, man, there's something coming on this earth that is a power that they cannot defend. And when it comes, it's going to take over this planet. It's not going to be no Project Bluebeam, nothing like that.
So my man-made black box while laying on the ground is paired with another Gemini man-made above from the sky. Its function, it's to record everything regarding the exotic energy and ensures all activity is saved as data on a backup storage like unit, and also is actively scanning and recording the event on the ground below.
So there it is right there, brothers. That's the end of the little clip. So I wanted to show y'all, ended off with some scriptures, but there's a lot to take in, right? And like I'm not, again, I gotta reiterate, I'm not promoting this type of tech, like, you know, user technology where you go in and you do this type of practice, but I'm showing you how the heathens go out there to cipher out our records to see what is and what isn't. While everybody talking about a fairy tale book, they actually going in to see how we defeated certain enemies in the past. So we got to pay attention. Everything pertaining to these records, we got to bring it out so our people could see it and understand it and come back to who they are. All right, brothers, I'm going to close out with this.
There it is, brothers and sisters. See, that video goes into a lot. Again, right? That's what they seeing, tapping into our records, seeing what they seeing, right? I'm going to close out with this and let y'all see how this going to go down. Coming down to that, Job 12:16. With him is strength and wisdom. With the Lord is strength and wisdom. It's not idealism. It's not, well, I think the Lord came for everybody. None of that soft, mushy stuff. When the Lord's coming back, the Lord's coming back in a military occupation. You have to start to train your mind. If you have a weak mind, you have to start training your mind on how the Lord works, right? The Lord is coming back in a military occupation. He's not coming back to hand out milk duds and stuff like that. He's coming back to destroy, break down, and build up. He can't do that with everybody. He has to build his nation up. So all you brothers, and even some of you Israelites that think like that, you brothers are weak-minded. Because that's what the Lord said, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceive and the deceiver are his. So if you're thinking like that, it's because the Lord wants you to be deceived. Because something about you is wicked. And that's why the Lord wants you to have that doctrine. And that's why the Lord allowed Christianity to blossom on this earth and to bring us last to see who's really with him, right? That's how Israelites come from agrarian society. Agrarian means that it is with cattle, sheep, grass, farming, tilling the land and stuff like that. That's why it's written, as goats and sheep, because the people that was reading it or understanding what Moses was saying understood that a sheep is a loyal animal, and a goat is a wild animal. A goat will eat your food and then run off and do his own thing. A sheep will never do that. A sheep will always listen to the shepherd's voice. That's why you see throughout the earth, right? Even the olive tree. Then you have a wild olive tree that goes conventional to the laws of a natural olive tree. That's why all these things are in there. That's why they speak in that format. But if you don't understand the agrarian society, you don't understand Israel or the Hebrewic idioms, you're not going to understand the Bible, period. And then the Lord puts a shutter over your eyes so you don't see it. Because there's something about you that's wicked. Either you have a prideful spirit, covetous spirit, lustful spirit, envious spirit, hateful spirit for your brethren. So the Lord will say, I'll give you what you think you're seeing, and that's Christianity. And when you come to serve this record, you come to serve these laws, statutes, commandments, and you come with a spirit of honesty, humility, and forgiveness, you're not going to have that, right? So without further ado, brothers, this is a quick one, and short-winded with it. Hope y'all got something out of it. Love y'all. See y'all again. If the Lord's will, y'all rock the soul. Peace and blessing multiply upon y'all.